వెంకటేశ్వరరావు కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ 2008 లో స్థాపించిన కళాశాలలో MBA, NAC A గ్రేడ్ మరియు ISO సర్టిఫికేషన్ సాధించిన మొట్టమొదటి కళాశాల శ్రీ ముత్తవరపు వెంకటేశ్వరరావు కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ త్వరలో అటానమస్ కాబోతోంది. 2014లో ISO గుర్తింపు, 2015లో రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వంచే A గ్రేడ్, 2016లో NAC A గ్రేడ్, ఇప్పుడు NBA సాధించిన సంస్థ శ్రీ ముత్తవరపు వెంకటేశ్వరరావు కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ.
So here we already discussed about all these topics in our earlier classes. In the last class we discussed about the radar cross section of targets like simple targets like sphere and cone sphere, radar cross section of sphere and radar cross section of cone sphere, and creeping wave, transmitter power, PRF and range ambiguities. And we are discussing about the system losses. Here qualitative treatment, system losses. We are discussing about the system losses. Yeah, what are the system losses? Here the system losses are, here we have several types of system losses are there. These are duplex loss, connector loss, plumbing loss, etc. All these losses are system losses. Plumbing loss, connector losses, duplexer loss, and beam shape loss. Already first three were discussed in our earlier class: connection losses, plumbing losses, and duplexer losses. Now coming to the beam shape loss. Beam shape loss. What are beam shape loss? Here, if you take the antenna gain that appears in the radar equation was assumed to be constant equal to the maximum value. Here, first of all, we are assuming the antenna gain in the radar equation is the constant which is equal to the maximum value. But in reality, the antenna gain is constant which is equal to the maximum value. But in reality, the train of pulses returned from a target with a scanning radar is modulated in amplitude by the shape of the antenna beam. So here we have to consider, in reality, we have to consider the antenna beam. So in generally saying, it is assumed to be a constant that is nothing but a maximum value. But in reality, we have to consider the antenna beam. To properly take into account the pulse train modulation caused by the beam shape, the computations of the probability of detection would have to be performed assuming a modulated train of pulses rather than constant amplitude pulses. So here we have considering the shape of the antenna beam, so that we have to consider the modulated train pulses rather than the constant amplitude pulse. But since this computation is difficult, a beam shape loss is added to the radar equation and a maximum gain is employed in the radar equation rather than a gain that changes pulse to pulse. So what we have to say here is regarding beam shape loss. In beam shape loss, generally the antenna gain in the radar equation is initially assumed to be constant, which is nothing but the maximum value, which is equal to the maximum value. But in reality, we have to consider the shape of the antenna beam. For considering the shape of the antenna beam, we require the modulated train of pulses rather than the constant amplitude pulse. So, but for considering the shape of the antenna beam, we require the modulated train of pulses for the detection. So since in this computation is difficult, a beam shape loss is added to the radar equation. So that's why beam shape losses are added to the radar equation, and a maximum gain is employed in the radar equation rather than a gain that changes pulse to pulse. So by adding the beam shape losses, we can get the maximum gain in radar equation. Next, coming to the scanning losses. What are scanning losses? When the antenna scans rapidly enough, the gain on transmit is not the same as the gain on receive. So when the antenna scans, the moment when the antenna scans, the gain on transmission is not the same of the is not same as that of the gain on received. An additional loss has to be computed called the scanning loss. So antenna scans the moment when the antenna scans, the gain on transmit is not same as that of the gain on receive. That's why we have to add an additional loss, a scanning loss. Scanning glass. The technique for computing scanning glass is similar in principle to that for computing beam shape loss. The technique used in beam shape loss is also used in the technique used in scanning glass. Scanning glass is important for rapid scan antennas or for very long range radars such as those designed to view extraterrestrial objects. So scanning glass is important for rapid scan antennas. Mainly, these are important for rapid scan antennas or for very long range radars. Long range radars are rapid scan antennas. So the technique used in the above one is also used in the scanning glasses. What is the above one here? What is the technique used in the above one? That is beam shape loss. Beam shape loss. In beam shape loss, these losses are added to the radar equation to enhance the gain, maximum gain. Here, scanning losses are used in rapid scan antennas or very long range antennas, long range radars, etc. Next, collapsing loss. What are collapsing loss? If the radar were to integrate additional noise samples along with the wanted signal to noise pulses, the added noise results in degradation called the collapsing loss. So the noise will degrade in collapsing loss. When will it occurs if the radar were in integrate additional noise samples along with the wanted signal to noise pulses? Then the noise will be degraded. These losses are called collapsing losses. Non-ideal equipment. Next, coming to the non-ideal equipment. What is non-ideal equipment? The transmitter power in the radar equation was assumed to be the specified output power. So the transmitter power is assumed to be the specified output power. Specified output power. The transmitted power is equal to the is assumed to be the specified output power. However, all transmitting tubes are not uniform in quality, and even any individual tube performance will not be same enough. The transmitted power in the radar equation was assumed to be the specified output power. However, all transmitting tubes are not uniform in quality, and even any individual tube performance will not be the same throughout its useful life. Also, the power is not uniform over the operating band of frequencies. Thus, for one reason or another, the transmitted power may be other than the design value. To allow for this variation, a loss factor of about 2 dB is introduced. So, for avoiding these losses, the loss factor of about 2 dB is introduced. Next, receiver noise figure is also varies over the operating frequency band. Receiver noise figure is also varies over the operating frequency band. Thus, if the best noise figure over the band is used in the radar equation, a loss factor has to be introduced to account for its poorer value elsewhere in the frequency band. So if the receiver is not the exact matched filter for the transmitted waveform, a loss in signal to noise ratio will occur. So when will the loss in signal to noise ratio occurs? So if the receiver is not the exact matched filter for the transmitted waveform, if the receiver is not matched filter for the transmitted waveform, then the loss in signal to noise ratio will occur. A typical value of loss for a non-matched receiver might be about 1 dB. It is the typical value of loss for a non-matched receiver. Okay, next coming to the operator loss. An alert, motivated, and well-trained operator performs as described by theory. However, when distra- distracted, tired, overloaded, or not properly trained, operator performance will decrease. The resulting loss in system performance is called operator loss. So, in system performance, operate how to get the how you will get the operator loss. The operator performs as described by the theory. A motivated, well-trained operator performs as described by theory. However, when distracted, tired, or overloaded, or not properly trained, operator performance will decrease. Is it not? So, when well-trained operator, if the operator was well-trained, then no problem. We'll get 100% result. If he was overloaded, or tired, or not properly trained, then he will perform the poor result. That's why automatically operator loss will the performance will be and decreased. So the resulting loss in system performance called operator loss. So that depends upon the performance of the operator. If he was well trained, he performs well. If he was not well trained, or if he was tired or overloaded, then the performance will be poor. Next, field degradation. Next, coming to the field degradation. Field degradation. What is field degradation? When a radar system is operated under laboratory conditions by engineering personnel and experienced technicians, the above mentioned losses give a realistic description of the performance of the radar. When a radar system is operated under laboratory conditions by engineering personnel and experienced technicians, the above mentioned losses, what we have discussed earlier, all five or six losses, give a realistic description of the performance of the radar. However, when a radar is operated under field conditions, the performance usually deteriorates even more than that can be accounted for by the above losses. To minimize field degradation, radar should be designed with built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment. So, to minimize the field degradation losses, we radar has to design with the built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment. Built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment. It includes the careful observation of performance monitoring instruments and timely preventative maintenance will minimize field degradation. There are many causes of loss and inefficiency in a radar. Although each of them may be small, the sum total can result in a significant reduction in radar performance. It is important to understand the origins of these losses, not only for better predictions of radar range, but also for the purpose of keeping them to a minimum by careful radar design. So, altogether, we can say that all these losses can be minimized by the radar should be designed with a built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment. With the built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment, we can decrease these losses, or we can minimize these losses in the radar design. So only thing is radar should be designed with the built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment. So if the radar should be designed with the built-in automatic performance monitoring equipment, then all these losses will be minimized. Okay, this is about the losses, system losses in radar system design. Now coming to the some important formulas in this unit. So these are all some important formulas related to radar range equation, signal to noise ratio, modified radar equation, the range of radar. All these things, all these formulas are very very important. So that's why here we have noted the important formula. Important formula is, first of all, the range of radar. The range of radar can be expressed as r equal to ctr by 2. That is the first equation that in this unit, that is ctr by 2. Next, maximum unambiguous range r unambiguous is equal to c by 2 fp. Next, basic radar equation, that is expressed as R max is equal to Pt into G into A into sigma by 4 pi whole square into S min whole power 1 by 4. Gain of the antenna, that is G equal to 4 pi Ae by lambda square. These are very important formulas. Noise figure of a receiver, that is Fn is equal to N naught by Kt naught into Bn into Ga. It is also given by noise figure Fn, and it is the alternative formula, that is Si by Ni by that is input signal to noise ratio. It is the ratio of input signal to noise ratio to the output signal to noise ratio. If the minimum detectable signal, next formula is, if the minimum detectable signal S min is that value of Si corresponding to the minimum ratio of output IF, signal to noise ratio S naught by N naught minimum necessary for detection, then S minimum is equal to KT naught Bn Fn into S naught by N naught minimum. Here K is Boltzmann's constant. S min is equal to, so it is S min. What is S min? It is minimum detectable signal. Minimum detectable signal with signal to noise ratio, Boltzmann constant, and absolute temperature. It is related as S min is equal to KT naught into Bn into Fn into S naught by N naught minimum. And the modified maximum possible range in terms of IF amplifier output, signal to noise ratio, and the noise figure, it is represented as R max to the power 4 is equal to PTG sigma by 4 pi whole square into KT naught into Bn into Fn into Sn naught by N naught minimum. This is the modified radar range equation, modified radar equation expression. Okay, next formula related to relationship between probability of false alarm, probability of detection, and signal to noise ratio, that is represented as PFA, probability of false alarm, is equal to 1 by PFA into V. PFA is also equal to exponential of minus Vt square by 2 J naught, or TFA is equal to 1 by BIF into exponential of Vt square by 2 J naught. Next, Albershim empirical relationship between signal to noise ratio PFA and PD, or signal to noise ratio equal to A plus 0.12 AB plus 1.7B, where A equal to natural logarithm of 0.62 by PFA and B equal to natural logarithm of PD by 1 minus PD. The radar equation with n pulses integrated is equal to R max to the power 4 is Pt into G into Ae into sigma by 4 pi whole square into Kt naught Bn Fn, signal to noise ratio Sn S by n suffix n. Then the formula for integration efficiency, that is EI of n is equal to signal S by n of 1 by n into S by n of n, where n is n number of signals, n number of pulses. Final radar equation including integration efficiency with n number of pulses integrated is equal to R max to the power 4 is equal to Pt into G into A into sigma into n into EI of n by 4 pi whole square into K into T naught into Bn into Fn into input signal to noise ratio. These are all very important formulas in this first unit. All problems related to these problems only. These are very important formulae related to the first unit. Okay. So radar range equation, range of radar, maximum unambiguous range, basic radar equation, noise figure of the receiver, next minimum detectable signal, next maximum possible range in terms of IF amplifier output, next relationships between probability of false alarm and detection and signal to noise ratio, next integration efficiency, next finally radar equation including integration efficiency with n number of pulses integrated is this one, R max to the power 4 is equal to Pt into G into A into sigma n EA of n by 4 pi whole square kt naught bn fn into s by n, signal to noise ratio of the input. Okay, so these are all very important formulas. Then we will see some important problems also. The problems related to very small problems based on the formula only. Just values will be given. We have to substitute these values in the prescribed formula only. Okay, like this will get you may get very simple problems also. Okay, let us see some problems. So first problem: a certain radar has PRF of 1 to 1250 pulses per second. What is the maximum unambiguous range? And maximum unambiguous range, we have to find out the maximum unambiguous range. So we have the formula for finding the unambiguous range, that is R unambiguous is equal to C by 2FP or C by 2 into TP. So C by 2FP. What is C? Velocity of light, that is T 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second into 2 into here already PR pulse repetition frequency, that is given as 1250 pulses per second. So C is 3 into 10 power 8 by 2 into 1250 meters. Okay. So we will get 12, this is 120 kilometers, 120 in 10 power 3 meters, or it is 120 kilometers. Like this, we can find out the maximum range of unambiguous range. Okay. Next problem is radar. A shipboard radar has zero point 0.9 microsecond transmitted pulse width. Two small boats in the same direction are separated in range by 150 meters. Will the radar detect the two boats as two targets? Will the radar detect the two boats as two targets? A shipboard radar has zero point 0.9 microsecond transmitted pulse width. Two small boats in the same direction are separated in range by 150 meters. Here, two small boats are also traveling are in the same direction, which are separated in range by 150 meters. Will the radar detect the two boats as two targets? That was the question. So radar detect the two birds as two targets. So radar range resolution. The radar range resolution of a radar is its ability to distinguish two closely spaced targets along the same line of sight, LOS. The range resolution is a function of the pulse length, where the pulse length LP is equal to C into tau by 2, two-way range corresponding to the pulse width. So first of all, we have to find out the radar range resolution. Radar range resolution is calculated by using the formula LP is equal to C into tau by 2. So what is tau? Tau is nothing but transmitted pulse weight, that is zero point 0.9 microseconds. Okay, we have to find out LP, that is LP equal to C into tau by 2. C is velocity of light, that is T into 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second into zero point 0.9 into microseconds, 10 power minus 6 by 2. It is equal to 135 meters. It is nothing but pulse length. The pulse length is calculated as 135 meters. Since the boats are at 150 meters, these are separated in a range by 150 meters apart, which is greater than the range resolution, that is 135 meters. So 150 meters is greater than the 135 meters. The radar can detect the two boats as two separate targets. Then, so if the given range is greater than is 150 meters, so here the given range is 150 meters. If it is greater than the pulse length LP, that is 150 is greater than 135 meters, then automatically radar can detect the two boats as two separate targets. Like this, we have small problems. Next, coming to the third problem, a pulse radar transmits a peak power of 1 megawatt. If the pulse repetition time equal to 1000 microseconds and the transmitted pulse width is 1 microsecond, calculate first bit maximum unambiguous range, average power, duty cycle, energy transmitted, and lastly we have to find out the bandwidth also. Bandwidth. So a pulse radar transmits a peak power of 1 megawatt. It has a pulse repetition time equal to 1000 microsecond, and the transmitted pulse width, that is tau, is 1 microsecond. So we have to calculate the maximum unambiguous range, average power, duty cycle, energy transmitted, bandwidth. Okay, first of all, the maximum unambiguous range. What is the formula for maximum unambiguous range? R unambiguous is equal to C into Tp by 2. That is 3 into 10 power 8 into Tp is given as 1 microsecond. 1 microsecond. No, no, no. Tp is given as 1000 microseconds. This is tau, also with tau p. So, 1000 microseconds, 1000 into 10 power minus 6 by 2. So, it is 150 kilometers. The maximum unambiguous range is 150 kilometers. Next, coming to the average power. What is the formula for finding the average power? That is Pp into tau by Tp. What is Pp? 1 into 10 power 6 into 1 into 1 microsecond. This is pulse width. 1 into 10 power minus 6 by Tp is 1000 into 10 power minus 6. So here the peak power, that is Pp, peak power is 1 megawatt, that is 1 into 10 power 6 into 1 into 10 power minus 6 by 1000 into 10 power minus 6. By simplifying this one, we will get 1 kilowatt as average power. Then how to find out the duty cycle? Duty cycle is calculated by using the formula Pp into tau by Tp. Duty cycle is calculated by using the formula tau by Tp. What is tau? 1 microsecond. That is 1 into 10 power minus 6 by Tp. Tp is transmitted power. 1000 into 10 power minus 6. So it is equal to 0.001. Then energy transmitted. Energy transmitted is calculated by using the formula Pp into tau. Pp into tau. Pp is peak power. Tau is pulse width. Peak power into tau. That is 1 into 10 power 6 into 1 into 10 power minus 6. That is equal to 1. Then bandwidth. How to find out the bandwidth? That is 1 by tau. 1 by tau. That is 1 by 1 into 10 power minus 6. That is 1 megahertz. So like this, so we can find out the simple uh, solutions. So simply substitute the given values in the formulas. These are all the 10 to 15 basic formulas are there. So by knowing these formulas, we can do all these problems. Okay. In the next class, we'll continue the remaining problem. We'll do the remaining problems.